I think in the grand scheme of things, online gaming is becoming less toxic, but it's all relative because it's coming from a pretty toxic place.
No, is the simple answer.
Is online gaming becoming less toxic? I'm going to say yes. Well, my main reasoning being is I'm seeing large companies who make these games like Riot, Blizzard, making an active stance against any of like their players in esports, making comments that aren't inclusive. I do think games are being marketed more inclusively. For example, games aren't, they're not just marketed predominantly to men. They're being marketed for female players as well, or to female like characters, and female role models are becoming more prominent.
I would say there's good representation in newer games of kind of women and stuff, which helps normalise, I think, women in gaming, and I think we need a lot more of that just to kind of make female presenting people feel a lot more comfortable within that sort of environment.
I think online gaming becoming less toxic is starting to happen in certain areas of gaming, especially as communities start to form on places like Discord, where toxic members of chat and toxic people in those communities can be quite quickly exiled. So it's a lot more welcoming and a lot more safe for people to engage with. I think on large public forums like Twitter and YouTube and Twitch, it's still as bad, if not worse, than it's ever been. A combination of poor moderation and people's just seemingly pent-up anger across the last year has made it so that some of the comments you see now, particularly towards people of colour or women, are so vile that you wonder how they stay on a platform for so long and why they aren't dealt with. But there is hope if you look in the right places for the good communities.
The younger generation is starting to realise that their words actually have consequences, and if their parents are gamers as well who have played online games, they'll definitely be wanting to set a good example and tell their kids that, this kind of behaviour isn't right. But having said that, there's still a lot of toxicity out there.
More needs to be done, and more needs to be kind of stood up against like any toxicity you experience online, like homophobia, racism, misogyny. That's still prevalent, especially in online communities.
There's a long way to go in that sense, with toxic environments kind of feeling like you're not part of something.
More and more people are playing games more than ever. It's not like there's less stigmas against gamers. I think there used to be like a stigma that gamers were just like guys in like a basement or something. It's a normal thing now. Everybody games, I game, you game, your auntie games. And I think because that's been more normalised, I do think it's been less toxic. But in saying that, I think it's still got a very long way to go.
To hear the whole story, subscribe to Tricky on BBC Sounds.
BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.